once again. I'll just start right from the beginning. She found herself over a long and treacherous road, and the more treacherous the road became, the more of herself she found. This life is tough, that's what they say, but they don't know how it is like every day to wake up in the morning and go to school just so people can test you and prove you're a fool. The teachers say, you obviously didn't try, but they don't know you go to your room and cry. You did put in effort, you did your part, but for some, you just never are good enough. Dear teenager, I know that you may feel powerless. You might sit there the night before a test and feel like you know nothing. Everything is just a mush. The well-known feelings of not understanding anything and feeling stupid are sneaking up on you. Maybe you want to give up. Maybe you want to rest for a while. But the fear that you might not make it, not pass, that you are screwed is constantly in your thoughts. How will this end? Have you made the right choices? What do you want to become? Beside you, your parents sit, are just as confused and maybe scared, mother or father. They don't know whether they should comfort you or put pressure on you. Suddenly, the motivation of actually wanting to learn new things and being curious has been replaced with words like make it, fight, survival, and pressure. As a 15-year-old, I want to say, oh man, can we just slow down on things for some time? For just a little while? If there are any 10th or 12th graders present in here today, they know how appropriate this is, with the board examinations closing in on us with every passing day. School, the system that builds us, the system that's fragile. Parents, teachers, principals, the world has changed. You have changed. Do you still feel the lust to explore as you did when you were little? It is important to gain new knowledge, but your faith in the future and your joy in life is not dependent on how you derive an x from an equation. I promise. What do I want to say through this? Nothing and everything. I am just a regular teenager who wants this world to do what it can for you and me, my amazing fellow being, to be happy and feel joy. I want to sell you love and hope. I want you to buy it, the future. I want you to want to be in it. I think many adults are bad at marketing and selling the future to the younger generation. If they work this way to sell cars, they wouldn't have many buyers. For someone to be able to sell a car, they have to believe in it. When I happen to watch the footage of squealing teenagers on the television and they only show the success stories, I think of all those young people who didn't get what they wanted and feel like failures. I think of them, heartbroken and mortified, and my own heart goes out to them. I want to hug them and tell them that this moment does not define the rest of their life. I'd also like to reassure the ones who didn't sleep last night and couldn't eat this morning because every inch of their self-esteem was riding on the alphabet of the letter etched in ink on that test paper. I'd like to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with those people who are, in the eyes of everyone, parents, teachers, colleges, universities, employers, not the best. Let me explain. Anxiety and depression caused by stress-induced, study-related burnout has torn through the lives of many individuals and stolen them from themselves. But there comes a point when we'll probably be lying in our bedroom, and we will be forced to ask ourselves, how did I get here? It's gonna be a long and scary road trying to answer that question, and we are all gonna struggle finding the right words. Pressure, expectation, passion, ambition, drive, self-esteem, hard work, achievement. If I really try to distill all these words down to one simple thing, it's being the best. I'm not old enough to be answering that question perfectly yet, but having been raised by a mom and dad who are the complete opposites of pressurizing and pushy parents, I'm pretty sure it's got a lot to do with the upbringing as well, besides schooling. I don't want this to turn into a rant against school. It's not helpful, not least, but overall I'm getting an academic education that matches standards and I pretty much thrive there. My creative talent is being nurtured by a few daring and inspiring teachers, and most importantly, it is where I met my very best friends who continue to be by my side. But for me personally, and I am beginning to realize it's the same for others like me, this sort of education, for all its perks and positives, can be very detrimental to a person's mental health, even if that comes out years later. Ultimately, schools and everything they stand for teach a fixed mindset. There is no room for mistakes or for giving yourself time and space to figure things out. They thrive and survive on producing the most academic, most accomplished, most successful little citizens. I don't ever remember hearing in a morning assembly in school that taught the importance of being happy, being content, or looking after yourself. I do, however, remember hearing in a lot of assemblies about the importance of getting good grades or the need to study hard. Resultantly, I asked my parents to get me a tutor for the first time in my life, and they were taken aback, to say the least. And when they asked me why, I told them how I felt I just wasn't good enough. The rising competition in today's world was making it really hard for me to keep up with my own little definition of being the best. Wrong choice of words, I agree. I studied hard. I tried to change the world, that old bleeding heart, but nothing but my best was good enough. I recall being anxious while going to school and wondering, what if I score way lower than the other toppers in my class? At that time, I heard people say things like, marks aren't the end of the world, but well, it mattered the world to me because at the end, I knew that what the society ultimately judges you on is your report card, your academic excellence. Thus, I just wanted to be the best. It was much later on that my definition of this four-letter word changed for good. It meant so much more than just scoring a few straight A's. It now means to me as having a positive outlook, being a better version of yourself than before, being strong, being kind but being fierce, and not giving up. And thus, I repeat to my own young heart and to all others who feel that expectations from the world are constantly getting the better of you. Marks in any field of life do not decide who you are. Your talents are valuable. You are valuable and precious more than anything else in the entire universe. So please keep smiling. Be wild, be kind, be nice. Chase your dreams. It doesn't necessarily have to be an engineering degree, but it has to necessarily be what you want to pursue. It must be your very own dream, neither a borrowed one nor a forced one. We have calcium in our bones, iron in our veins, carbon in our souls, and nitrogen in our brains. We are all 93% stardust with souls made of flames. We are all just stars with people names. Each one of you right here is capable of achieving the unthinkable. You believed in Santa Claus for 10 years. Now please believe in yourself for 2 solid minutes. Just because you have to excel in school does not mean that you stop doing the things that you love. Don't stop writing, don't stop acting, don't stop singing. Because once the passions are gone and your self-esteem plummets, you will stop looking after yourself altogether. You will burn out. You will run out of steam. And the truth is, you cannot pour from an empty cup. I cringe at the cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason, right? When that happens and you're left with the mental collateral damage, it is beyond devastating. I read an article online recently when I was desperately trying to make sense of it all, and this line resonated with me so profoundly. Burnout is less a sign of failure and more that you gave yourself away. I was reminded yesterday by my lovely mum that sometimes a breakdown is a breakthrough. It forces you to slow down and, if necessary, stop what you're doing altogether. For anyone who feels or ever has felt this way, there is no shame in it. I don't want to be the best anymore. I am done with that. I want to be happy and I want to be healthy. And I wish it had been this way all along. So this is the advice I would give to those 15, 16 and 17-year-olds writing their exams in a few months. Put your health and happiness first, always. You are the ones who will change the world. But you don't have to try to do all of this on your own and mustn't at the expense of yourself. You don't always have to be the best. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't set the bar too high. Take breaks and reflect. Give yourself credit. Slow down. There is no doubt that success is a very important part of life, but happiness is a priceless emotion. In fact, it is believed that people who have a higher happiness quotient will achieve much higher degrees of success in life. Oh yeah, you have a brilliant report card in hand, but if it's at the cost of your happiness, is it all really worth it? Why does one have to act like a machine that neither takes delight in doing things nor celebrates even the smallest successes of life? If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. If you're meeting life goals and challenges with a light and free heart, you are doing life right. Keep going. But if you're struggling along every step on the way, it's really time to stop and rethink your priorities. In this 21st century, when the world has become a stage for a competition, everybody is running a race, not knowing exactly where to stop or what the finishing line will look like. If you look around, your classmate might be looking really happy after getting a recent high test score. But if you really try to dig into their lives more deeply, you will realize that they are just wearing a facade of happiness. Success means living a life with a plan. Happiness is living life with passion. Success in any field of life isn't growing alone, but happiness isn't growing with others. Instead of running behind plans all the time, fuel yourself with passion. Take time out for yourself during those long study hours and indulge in something that puts a smile across your face. It will automatically increase your productivity and you will realize it's worth taking out the time to get to know yourself first. Rule number 1. You must like what you do. An artist never paints a piece with the aim of selling it for money. He does it for the sake of love. Now pause for a while and ask yourself, if you did what you had to do with a little more interest and a more positive outlook, would things be different for good? Please, don't put your health at stake. Eat right, drink enough water, get enough exercise and sleep adequately. Now, ask yourself, are you happy or are you running with the constant thought of not knowing enough? Instead of running behind plans and being an accumulator, share what you have in hand and watch your happiness skyrocket. The wiser ones know that chasing happiness can chase it away. I've said it once, I've said it twice, and I will say it another million times. Raise your spirit to the light, then your smile you must ignite. And with your courage so strong, do not give in to tears and plight. So take care, follow your dreams, fight when you need to, but do not let yourself believe that your life depends on one test or grade. Life is way smarter than that.
So he's the youngest at heart here today and probably the oldest amongst us today.